I hope you're having a great day. So I just got back with my grocery pickup order. All of my groceries are spread out over here, so I need to put some of that away, but I'm planning to make several different breakfasts and meals that I can stock my freezer with, so we have them ready to go so that we are well stocked for the next few days. So I thought I might go ahead and share it in a video. I have had requests for that and I just haven't gotten to it. So that's what I'm going to be sharing in this video. Several different breakfasts and meals to stock up our freezer. Let's get started. Here's a look at our grocery haul. I got a bag of carrots, some shredded Colby Jack cheese, and some sliced cheddar cheese, a bag of iceberg salad mix, and some turkey. I got a bag of frozen broccoli, some tater tots, as well as hash browns. And then I also purchased some hamburger buns so we can do hamburgers one evening, some English muffins, that's going to be for one of the breakfasts, 2 loaves of wheat bread, several packages of tortillas, and then I got a big bottle of ranch, some peanut butter, some mayo, some applesauce, and green beans, and some enchilada sauce. Some butter, I needed to pick up some of that, some organic popcorn, we're out of that. Chocolate chips, I got some bananas, some coconut milk, some of these bars. I really like these, I think they're really good. I do a lot of low sugar, and these I think, let me just show you. So these are actually pretty good. The sugar is 7 in 1 bar. Over here we have a gallon of milk, and then I picked up the big package of sausage. I'm going to be cooking up that whole thing today and using that in some meals, and 4.5 pounds of ground beef, which I'm going to be cooking up most of that as well. And then I got some dish soap, some freezer bags, just a few of these frozen burritos to have on hand, some crescent rolls, some potato chips, and some yogurt. So that is my grocery haul. Hopefully I didn't go over that too quickly, but it was right at $120. So I'm going to go ahead, put the items away that I don't need right now, and give you a quick rundown of what I'm going to be making in this video. I want to use the ground beef to make hamburgers one night, and we're going to make a lasagna, enchiladas, and then I think I'm going to make 2 smaller tater tot casseroles to put in the freezer as well. And then for the sausage, I'm going to make up some sausage patties to use with the English muffins and make some breakfast sandwiches. And then I'm also going to make 2 smaller breakfast pizzas, some breakfast burritos, and if I have some eggs left, I'm going to make some French toast for the freezer as well. And if you've never seen this done before or wonder what I'm doing to the bananas, I'm just using the bag that they came in and wrapping it around the top part of the bananas. I saw this tip years ago where if you use some sort of saran wrap or plastic around that top part, wrap it up, they stay fresh longer, so I've been doing it since. So I need to make 6 sausage patties for the English muffins that I purchased to make the breakfast sandwiches with. So I'm just going to get those cooking in one pan and brown up the rest of the sausage in another one. And then I'm going to be cooking the ground beef at the same time in another pan to just get everything going. And I think I'm going to use this pan right here to go ahead and get the ground beef cooking as well. I've never actually used it before. In fact, it's still in the packaging, and we got this for a gift a couple of years ago. At least I think it's been about 2 years, and I've never actually used it. So this is the perfect time to break this pan out and use it. So let's give this a try. So I think this might be handy for doing a lot of meal prep. I'm glad I remembered I had this. So I'm going to go ahead and get some ground beef in here and get it browning up. I'm going to keep some of it back for hamburgers. The rest of it I'm just going to go ahead and get cooked up. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get my hamburgers made up as well. So I have 8 hamburger patties made up, so I'm going to put those in a baggie, and we might do those tonight or tomorrow. Just stick those in the fridge, and I'm going to continue browning the hamburger, the sausage, and the sausage patties. I think these are done, so I'm just going to set them on this plate so I can work on the rest of the sandwich. I'm going to wipe out some of this grease, and I'm just going to go ahead and use this pan for the egg. And I'm going to be making 6 eggs, and we don't like runny eggs, so I'm just going to break the yolk and get these cooked up. I will add some pepper to each one, but I'm not going to add salt because the sausage already has quite a bit of salt in it. I don't have one of these utensils yet. It has been a game changer in my kitchen. If I can find a link for one, I will put it in the description box below. But I do not like big chunks in my ground beef or sausage, and this really does a great job at breaking all of that up. And so I'm thinking I might need to get another one so that on bulk food cooking days, I have more than one that I can utilize. So after I had everything ready to assemble my breakfast sandwiches, I just cut the English muffins in half, added an egg, a half a slice of cheese, and a piece of sausage, and that's it. They are ready to go, and I just wrapped them up in a piece of saran wrap and placed them in the freezer. But I started assembling them about the time my husband came home for lunch, and so this is what we chose to go ahead and eat for lunch that day as well. And so that worked out really well, but I only had 4 to put in the freezer, and they just didn't last very long, and so I've made them again since filming this video. A really good and quick breakfast to keep on hand. And we have found if you take them out of the freezer the night before you're going to want them for breakfast, they just warm up a lot easier that way. It gives them a chance to thaw out. You can warm them up directly out of the freezer, just take them out of the saran wrap or however you store them, but it does take longer and the bread can get kind of tough. So we really like to take them out of the freezer, put them in the fridge the night before, and then it doesn't take near as long to warm them up the next morning. So most of the food I'm working on today are just simple things that you can easily change to suit your taste, and this is no exception. I'm going to be making a breakfast pizza. Normally I would use a 9x13 pan and make one large one, but I chose to make 2 smaller ones. I'm using 8x8 pans for this. That way I can put them both in the freezer and I will have them ready to go. So I'm just starting by getting out some crescent roll dough. You could also use the dough sheets if you were doing a 9x13, but I decided to go with the crescent rolls. They're just a little bit easier to work with, a little bit easier to break apart, and I don't have to cut it. So I am just going to flatten out the crescent roll dough in each pan, and then I'm going to poke a few holes in it with a fork, and then I'm going to go ahead and start the baking process and put them in the oven for about 10 minutes. So basically, when the dough is pretty much done, it doesn't have to be completely cooked all the way. I will move on to the next step. I usually use shredded hash browns for this step, but I chose to use the country style this time. I'm just going to pour in some hash browns into each pan. I'm going to add some of my cooked sausage, and then I'm going to whisk up some eggs and milk and pour that over the top of each one. I will top them with some shredded cheese. I will place them back into the oven until they are cooked through, and my breakfast pizza will be done and ready to go. This is one of those recipes that could easily be changed up in so many different ways to suit your taste. Instead of sausage, you could use bacon or ham. Instead of the cubed hash browns, you could definitely use shredded. You could add peppers, you could add onions. There's just so many different ways to change this up. So here on this day, I used 5 or 6 eggs, added some milk, just whisked that together, added some pepper, and poured it over each one. If we had an abundance of eggs when I make this, I would definitely use a lot more eggs normally, but since I was making several different things using eggs, I went ahead and used maybe 5 or 6 for this one. So after I get the eggs poured over each one, I'll add the shredded cheese, and then I'm going to go ahead and fully cook it. That way it's done, ready to go, and when I'm ready to take it out of the freezer, all we have to do is warm it up. While that's baking in the oven, I moved on to the breakfast burrito mixture that I'm going to be making. I used the sausage that I had left over, added about a dozen eggs, kind of mixed that up a little bit to give it a chance to start cooking. And while I was doing that, my pasta water was ready, so I added my lasagna noodles to the pot. And then I'm going to move on to the next thing. So I'm just trying to use my time as wisely as I can while getting as much done as possible in the kitchen. So I placed some avocado oil on a pan, letting that get warmed up, and using some of the eggs that I had left over, decided to make up some French toast for the freezer as well. I think I used 4 eggs, and then I just added some milk, some black pepper, whisked that up, and used wheat bread to make my French toast. I think I ended up getting 6 pieces of French toast, so I just put 2 per baggie to put in the freezer. And we're going to end up with a nice variety of items for the freezer for breakfast. We're going to have breakfast burritos, French toast, breakfast pizza, as well as breakfast sandwiches. And we pretty much usually have pancakes or waffles as well, so I think it's really nice to have those variety of items on hand each morning, so that if you don't feel like cooking, you don't really have to. To the breakfast burrito mixture, I'm going to be adding in some pecane sauce, and you can just use whatever kind you like and however much you like. And then I'm going to add some slices of American cheese as well. And again, you can use as much cheese as you want or as little, or you don't have to use it at all. I've done it several different ways and it always turns out really good. breakfast burrito mixture is done and ready to go. I'm going to be using the smaller fajita size tortillas to roll these up, and I'm just going to roll them each up individually and place them in a piece of aluminum foil, and I will put that inside the freezer. The French toast is done, and I think I mentioned I'm putting 2 pieces inside each baggie, and those will be ready to go in the freezer as well. The lasagna noodles are done, so I turned that off. My ground beef mixture is done and ready to go, so I'm going to be moving pretty quickly, and also the breakfast pizza is about ready to come out of the oven as well. So I am going to get the breakfast burritos rolled up, placed in the freezer, and then get started on my lasagna. Breakfast pizza is done and cooling off so that I can get that wrapped up and ready to go to the freezer. Back to the breakfast burritos, I'm just placing some of the mixture inside each tortilla, rolling them up inside the foil and tucking the end. And I think I ended up with 13 burritos out of this mixture. So I am going to put my pan in the sink, put the burritos in the freezer, and then I'm going to move on to the next thing. On to lasagna. I'm just making a very basic and simple lasagna. So I'm adding about 1/3 of my ground beef to this pot, adding a jar of pasta sauce, and I'm just going to layer that with the noodles, and then I will top it with some cheese. Just very basic. You could definitely add spinach, you could definitely add ricotta cheese or cottage cheese, whatever you like in your lasagna. I've made it several different ways, but this day I'm just going simple and seeing what all I can get accomplished in a small amount of time. Lasagna is done, so I covered it, placed it inside the refrigerator, and that's what we're probably going to have for supper. I rinsed out my pan, added about another 1/3 of the ground beef to the pan, and added some cream of mushroom soup as well as some green beans, and I'm making 2 small tater tot casseroles for the freezer. I ended up using 2 cans of cream of mushroom and 2 cans of green beans. I just placed half the mixture into each pan, and I will top them both with tater tots, and I'm just going to cover them and put them in the freezer, and then when we are ready to use them, I will cook them, and then towards the end of their cook time, I'll probably add some shredded cheese to melt on top. But it's nice to have things like this in the freezer ready to go on really busy days or when you just don't feel like cooking. So I rinsed out my pan again and added the rest of my ground beef, added some of the red enchilada sauce. I sprayed a pan with some extra virgin olive oil spray, and I'm using the burrito sized tortilla shells, adding some of the meat mixture, rolling them up, and just placing them in the pan. So here is my enchiladas. These will go in the freezer as well. And my cooking is just about done for the day. And I'm really proud of what all I got accomplished. And I am excited to have all of these things ready to go. pan ended up working perfectly. I'm so glad I remembered that we had that because it's going to come in so handy on these bigger cooking days. I did end up with a bit of a mess, but it really wasn't that bad. Overall, I'm really happy with what all I got done in just a few hours. We ended up with lasagna, enchiladas, 2 tater tot casseroles, 2 breakfast pizzas, some breakfast sandwiches, French toast, breakfast burritos, and hamburger patties ready to go on the grill as well. So I know these are all basic meals and they're also budget friendly, so maybe it reminded you of a meal that you haven't thought about in a while, or maybe it gave you a few ideas. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, give it a thumbs up, comment to let me know. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day, and thanks for watching.